Shalom. So I thought I would start this video off with a discussion of slavery in the Bible, mostly because I get really pissed off when people talk about how the Bible approves of slavery. The Hebrew Bible does not approve of slavery. That's just a complete misunderstanding. Um, while the Bible has provisions for slavery, um, those provisions are actually very restrictive, and they prohibit the type of slavery, what's called chattel slavery, which the Roman law allowed, and which eventually became the type of slavery that was in the United States. But it's completely wrong to say that that the Hebrew Bible approves of slavery. Whether the Greek Bible does, that's a whole other discussion. I'm not going to get into. But just to be perfectly clear, no, Judaism does not approve of slavery. Judaism has never approved of slavery. And to show you why, first of all, we're going to be looking in the Pentateuch itself, um, but obviously there's also the oral law and there's everything that goes with it. But it's really important to remember that Judaism places a lot of emphasis on the fact that we were slaves in Egypt and God freed us. So in a sense, we um, every Jew is supposed to remember the condition of being a slave, and because of that, treat people who are in that condition um, much better. And we're going to go through the various verses. I want to really highlight this exactly, but it's it's really important to be clear that I'm not just retroconning, I'm not doing apologetics. That's not what I'm doing. I would not present something that the Bible um, approves of, right, as something that shouldn't be approved of, or vice versa. And that's why I'm going to be talking particularly about Rashi's commentary. Now, the important thing about Rashi's commentary is that it was written 1,000 years ago. Okay? 1,000 years ago. Well, 900 something, but 1,000 years ago. Okay? And so you have to understand that when he was writing this commentary on the Hebrew Bible, this was when everybody approved of slavery. 1,000 years ago, there wasn't much of an abolitionist movement. And yes, abolition of slavery comes out of the Bible because the Bible very obviously disapproves of slavery. That's why the people who were the most ardent abolitionists were, in fact, very religious Christians, um, and why Jews were never, big religious Jews were never, and even non-religious Jews were never big traders in slavery. That's just a canard that people like Louis Farrakhan like to push, but religious Jews certainly were not, because Jewish religiosity does not approve of slavery. It has never approved of slavery. And the disapproval of slavery is an important part of Judaism. So let me explain this using chapter 21. Um, so this is what's called the Eshet Yafat Toar, which are those three words right there, which are a beautiful woman, right? We are in Deuteronomy chapter 21, verse 11. And you see among the captives a beautiful woman, and you desire her, and you may take her for yourself as a wife. And this is one of the horrible misunderstandings that people will talk about, right? If I'm at war, and this is something that's talking about a war, right? Um, and you see a beautiful woman, if you are going to do that, there's a whole thing where you have to shave her head and allow her to grow her nails, and she wears uh, uh, bad garments, and you have to give her time to mourn and for a full month, and all of these things, and which include, if you are going to after the month take her as a wife, she's your wife, right? And what I wanted to make clear is what Rashi makes very clear. Now there's a lot of brackets here, um, but that's because it is very clear in the Hebrew what Rashi's talking about. If you want to look in the Hebrew, you can, but Um, these are explanatory, and what Rashi says on this verse is not that you are commanded to take this woman as a wife, which is very, very clear. Lo dibra Torah ela keneged yetzer hara, right? But Scripture, in permitting this marriage, is speaking only against the evil inclination, yetzer hara, the evil inclination which drives him to desire her, right? And that's the chashakta ba, right? You desire her. Um, so, and once again, this was written 1,000 years ago by Rashi, based on the Midrash and based on basic Jewish teachings. This was not considered a good thing to do. For if the Holy One, blessed be is he, would not permit her to him, he would take her illicitly. The Torah teaches us, however, that if he marries her, he will ultimately come to despise her. As it says after this, if a man has two wives, one beloved and one despised, right? In verse 15, when you read this whole chapter, you'll see that there are verses um, juxtaposed, right? The Eshet Toar is right next to a man having two wives and despising one of them, and the wayward son, right? He will ultimately father through her a wayward and rebellious son, right? So, and Rashi explains, why is she why is her head shaved and her nails grown? She must let them so that she should become repulsive to her captors, right? And he talks about how in captivity, right, and she's going to be crying for her mother and father, and she's not going to look good. And so the whole thing was to it was talking against the evil inclination. And I don't know how many times I'm going to have to repeat this, but this explanation from Rashi is based on the Midrash. It's over 1,000 years old. It is so the idea that this is just apologetics, it's simply not true. It's simply not true. The Bible, the Hebrew Bible, never looked at slavery as something approvingly. The rabbinic tradition never looked at slavery as something approvingly, and and we'll go through more verses which make this clear, but I wanted to show you that this was an integral teaching. Rashi is considered the basic commentary which Jews learn with their kids. A 5-year-old kid learning Chumash, learning the Pentateuch, or learning the 5 books of Moses, does it with Rashi. Okay, and has for hundreds of years, if not since when Rashi first wrote this, and the collection of commentary from Rashi is actually not, it's mostly he's just collecting what is what it says in other places, right? It's a compendium of Jewish thought on these verses to understand the simple meaning of the Bible. So let's keep on going. Let's look at Deuteronomy 15:15, right? And this is a positive commandment upon every Jew. V'zacharta ki eved hayita be'eretz Mitzrayim ve'yiftecha havaya lekecha al ken anochi metzavecha et hadavar hazeh hayom. And what that means is, and you shall remember that you were a slave. Ki eved hayita, you were a slave. You were, and every Jew is required to remember that he himself, even though it happened to our ancestors, it is something that applies to us. Eved hayita be'eretz Mitzrayim, you were a slave in the land of Egypt, and God, the Lord your God, redeemed you, and that's why we have the Torah that we do. So again, this is something we talk about a lot in Judaism. When we say Kiddush on a Friday night, every Friday night we say Zecher Yetziat Mitzrayim, and that reminds us of our exodus from Egypt. It is one of the things which we are supposed to remember, and remember that we were slaves, Eved, right? And one of the more famous verses in Psalms, Ana Havaya ki ani avdecha ben amatecha pitachta lemosarai. This is 116:16. They're translating truly God or answer me God. It's an interjection. Ana Havaya ki ani avdecha, for I am your slave. They're translating this as servant, but we're going to go take a look at that. The word is eved here. Because I am your slave, ani avdecha ben amatecha, I am your slave, the son of your female slave. So I am a slave, and my mother was a slave, right? Ben amatecha. They're translating as maid servant, but this is something that we see throughout the Bible. This is one of the reasons that people misunderstand what the Bible says. It's because a lot of times when they see the word eved, it's been translated as servant, because how we treat how the Bible sees servants or slaves was a type of servitude which was not like the slavery that we think of. So when translators translate this word eved, they translate it as a servant generally, almost always. Sometimes they translate it as a slave. And here is Strong's Concordance, root 5650, Eved, right? And see how many times it's being translated in the KJV as servant, right? Avadim, Eved Avadim, servant of servants, right? Again, over and over again, you'll see it's being translated. This word slave is being translated as a servant, which is one of the reasons people so misunderstand, right? So in Judaism, we refer to ourselves as Eved of Hashem. We refer to ourselves as being God's slaves, right? And again, you'll see over and over again, it gets translated as servant. So we, I mean, I could go over this for over and over again, but if you look, this word slave in the Hebrew is usually being translated as servant. Okay, and this is one of the reasons people misunderstand what the Bible means when it talks about slavery, right? So let's look at Exodus 21:26, and this is a really important part of understanding this, the relationship between master and servant or master and slave in the Hebrew Bible, because what happened is יכה איש את עין עבדו או את עין אמתו ושחטה לחופשי ישלחנו tachat eino, right? So if a person hits his slave or his female slave, right? It says eved or shifcha, right? Or ama, sorry, which is a female slave, right? Abdo or amato, right? And they're still translating it as servant, even though obviously here we're talking about a condition of slavery because he's going free, right? This isn't somebody you're just hiring. This is somebody who you have to free, right? This was a master and servant or master and slave relationship. And what happens is if he hits him and strikes out an eye or strikes out a tooth, which is the next verse, then he is actually violating the relationship between between the master and the slave. In the Jewish view of slavery, right? We as God's slaves view God as our master, and he has, which implies that he has a relationship where he is protecting us. And this is one of the reasons why if a master were to hit his slave and do damage to him, right, to knock out a tooth, knock out an eye, or any, in the rabbinic tradition we say any, this is teaching us any type of physical damage, then he's violated that relationship. And v'chol eved ish miknat kesef malta oto. Okay, and here Exodus 12:44 talks about how you circumcise your slaves. So why did Jews circumcise their slaves? Because their slaves became part of their household. And this is actually talking about the Passover, which was not shared with people who were strangers, which was not shared with people who were not part of a person's house, because you would take your Passover korban, your sacrifice, and you would do the sacrifice and bring it home and share it among you. And your slaves were supposed to eat part of it, right? And it says, "V'chol eved ish miknat kasef," right? So every servant of man, eved ish, miknat kasef, that you bought with money, Umalta oto, you shall circumcise him. And this was one of the reasons that when a slave was freed in Judaism, the freed slave didn't go back to being a Gentile. That freed slave became a Jew. In being freed from slavery, he became a Jew, right? He became part of Israel, and as a ger, as a convert, he was somebody who you had to love and you had to take care of. So and as yachel bo, yochal bo. That's how he can eat of the Passover offering. And I didn't look up the verse, but also fugitive slaves could not be returned in Judaism. So this is something, I mean, again, you can look in the Greek Bible, there's the whole thing with Philemon, but in Judaism, if certainly if a slave flees to a Jewish land, which to the land of Israel while it is being controlled by Jews, then that slave is given refuge. That is that is something in the Torah itself. There is the prohibition of returning the fugitive slave, because again, that that is something that instructs us about our relationship to God, right? So in Judaism, we often refer to our relationship to God as master and slave. Ani avdecha, I am your slave. Ben amatecha, the son of your female slave. Pitachta lamosarai. Like the psalm, the verse from Psalms that I quoted already. So I want it to be absolutely clear. I want you to understand what is going on when I talk about the Hebrew Bible. No, it never approved of slavery. It was one of the conditions that were a fact of life at the time, right? When the Bible was written, I would say closer to 3,500 years ago, but at the very least 2,500 years ago, the slavery that existed all over the world was chattel slavery. And what that meant was that the slave was less than human, chattel, right? Was like cattle, was like a possession. In Roman law, and you can look all of that up, in Roman law, they didn't have this idea that, well, first of all, they didn't have a law of murder, the way that Jewish law does, where if a stranger in your land is murdered in Judaism, in Genesis, I think we talked about this recently, but definitely, we talk about the elders. It may have been in chapter 17, but in Judaism, that was a sin against God, right? Murder was a sin against God. They didn't have that in the Romans. It was more a thing where your family would have a claim against somebody who murdered you, and if you had no family, nobody cared. And if you were a slave, it was a tort, right? It was a fine. Exactly. And whether you were allowed to kill your slave or not, certainly not in Judaism, certainly not under the Hebrew Bible, but under Roman law, possibly you were allowed to punish your slave to the point of killing him, and if you were punishing your slave and killed him. It wasn't a huge deal. And that is the law, right? That is the form of slavery that ended up being used in by Europeans against both the African and indigenous American populations that they enslaved. They their treatment honestly wasn't even. I mean, I would say wasn't even in keeping with what the Christian Bible says, but certainly not in keeping with what the Hebrew Bible says. Um, and that's very clear, and that's one of the reasons why Judaism and through Judaism, Christianity became the major force for the abolition of slavery. So whenever the celebrity atheists talk about I think I heard it was Dawkins said something to the effect of, if we actually believed in the Bible, we would have slavery. No, that is completely untrue. It is completely untrue. It is not in any way congruent with the Hebrew Bible or how Judaism viewed slavery, right? We view ourselves as slaves to God and God as our master. And within that relationship, it is included this idea that God has a duty to us to protect us, to provide for us, right? These were not ideas in chattel slavery. These were not ideas in the Roman law, which eventually, became the laws within the United States as well. So I just wanted to clear that up. Okay, so let us start in on Genesis chapter 18. Okay. Vayera Elav Havaya be'elone Mamre vehu Yoshev Petach ha'ohel kechom hayom. So this is right after the circumcision of Abram and Isaac, right? Ve'yera, so conjunctive of, because of the vocalization here, we're saying that this is in the Nifal consecutive imperfect. Nifal is the passive of, and the root here is Resh Aleph Hey, and we're saying that the Yud is actually part of the imperfect. And this is nifal. This is in the passive. So appeared, right? So the root here is resh aleph hey, to appear, to see. Okay. And like I've said before, the vocalization of the text is not as ancient as the consonantal text. So there is that whole, obviously you could vocalize this in different ways and it would mean other things. But obviously, I mean, in context, I don't see how else you would read it, but just making that clear. Elav, so this is the preposition with the aleph, not the ayin, right? Elav, to him. Havaya is the tetragrammaton. Be is the prepositional bet. Elone, so elon is a tree. They're translating it as an oak. It's also a common name these days in Israel for men, and ilana for women. But elone is in the construct, the smichut form with mamre, right? So it would be elonim, which is oaks, which is plural, but this is in the construct form with Mamre. And if you're keeping track, Elon here is written Bechisaron. It's written without the vav, which is pretty normal, I think. But in case you're keeping track. And Mamre is obviously a place, the name of a place. Vehu, so conjunctive of, who is the preposition, third person masculine singular. Yoshev, um, the root here, they're saying it's the culprit, leshevet. Um, so the root is shin bet, yud shin bet, I would say. Yeah, yud shin bet. That's what they're saying. To sit, to remain, to dwell. And obviously, there's that whole question of uh, the root there. But generally, I mean, yes, to sit in the participle, which is the present tense. And so he sits petach ha'ohel. So petach ha'ohel is also in the construct. The root here is pe taf chet, which is opening, right? So opening of the ohel, right? Aleph Hey Lamed, which is tent, right? Ha ohel, because the article goes on the last of the construct form in of all the nouns in the construct form. This is two nouns, and so ha ohel, the article goes on the last one. So petach ohel, meaning op- door, the opening of the ohel. Actually, I would not translate this as a door because the delet is a door. Okay, petach ha'ohel kechom hayom. Now this is a slightly strange way of saying it. The prepositional chaf um, usually means as, not in. I mean, they're translating it as in the heat. And there's also no article. There's no the. That would be ka chom. Kechom, as as the day was hot. I would say kechom chom hayom again. This is in the smichut in the construct form. Chom meaning heat. Here is in bechisaron without the vav, lacking. Yom meaning day. As always, it's written bemilui with the vav. So kechom hayom, in the, I would say as the day was hot. That's how I would translate it. But they're saying in in the heat of the day. Yeah, I understand that. Let's look at King James. And the Lord appeared unto him in the plains of Mamre, and he sat in the tent door in the heat of the day. Okay, that's the King James NIV. The Lord appeared to Abraham near the great trees. Okay. Oh, they're translating Elonei Mamre as the plains. Yeah, we actually, I think that's what we've done before, was translate Elonei as plains. But they're translating it as the great trees of Mamre. While he was sitting at the entrance, I prefer entrance. I would actually say opening though, to his tent in the heat of the day. There's actually a pretty the the Rashi here is actually very interesting. It's cute and okay. I'm not gonna do the Rashis. This isn't the Rashi thing, but this is if you might want to take a look at it. So Chabad translation, now the Lord. So they're translating that vav as now. The Lord appeared to him in the plains of Mamre, so they're also translating it as plains. And he was sitting at the entrance of the tent when the day was hot. Okay, uh, pretty simple right there. Okay, let's go on to verse 2. Okay, Vayisa enav vayar vehine shlosha anashim nitzavim alav vayar vayaratz likratam mipetach ha'ohel vayishtachu arza. Okay. Okay. So conjunctive of yis'ah. This the root here is sin aleph hey, I would say, which means to raise. Right, and this they're saying it's in the kal consecutive perfect, imperfect, right? The yud is part of the imperfect. Yeah, and he raised. Pretty clear there, right? Einav, his eyes. Ain obviously meaning eye. Einav is his eyes. So he raised his eyes. He lifted his eyes, and this is something that we. It's in the Hebrew. It's a normal expression. It's something we say a lot. Somebody sees something, they lift their eyes and they see it. Vayar. So again, the root here is resh aleph hey, and here it's in the kal form, obviously with the conjunctive of, and it's in the consecutive imperfect, right? And anytime you have a vav at the beginning of a verb, you have to decide within context whether it's being flipped from from the tense that it is in, right? So this is in the imperfect tense. So with the vav, because it's getting flipped to the past tense, right? To the perfect, to the completed, right? That's what we mean when we say perfect and imperfect. We mean completed and incomplete. It looks like it's an incomplete verb, but because there is a vav at the beginning, you have to decide based on context if it's getting flipped to the perfect, which I would say it is, and they would say it is. Vehine, so conjunctive of, hine is a interjection that is usually translated as a behold. Behold works for me. Shlosha anashim. So shalosh is the number 3. Shlosha is the masculine form of it. This is written bechisaron without a vav, as is normal. Anashim means men. Masculine plural. Anashim. We've had that many times. Nitzavim. Okay, so nitzavim. What are they going to say? Is it tzaddik? So the root here, is it nun tzaddik bet? Might be yud tzaddik bet. Matzav hey tzaddik bet. Hutzav. It means to. I mean, it's very clear what it means. It means to stand. This is a. It's an irregular. It's not a verb. This is the type of verb that makes people say that it is that there are 2-letter roots in Hebrew. Either it's actually tzaddik tzaddik bet, or it has a weak first root. This is a hard one because it almost seems like it's a 2-letter root. Nitzavim means standing, and it's in the nifal. That's what makes it so weird. I mean, I guess you could say no. You could say that the nun. See that it's very obvious that it's in the nifal, right? Which is the which is the my brain will start working. The passive, sorry. So they were standing, they were stood up, and matzeva is like a yeah, they were stood up. Something made them stand there, right? Nitzavim, um, participle. They're saying it's in the present tense. Yeah, yeah. Masculine plural. Yep, yep. Alav. So they were standing. This is not a root. You might want to look in the concordance because I know that this is actually an important verse in Christianity. You might want to look in your concordance because that is um, and that is an interesting verb being used in this in in this context. Alav, upon him, by him. The prepositional, this is al with the ayin. It's the preposition with the ayin, not the aleph. Upon him, near him, by him. Yeah. Vayar. So again, like we had before, conjunctive vav, the same root to see. This is in the kal, and he saw, right? Vayaratz. So conjunctive vav again. Hey, lirotz. Maybe the root is resh vav tzaddik, to run, right? To hurry. It is that. So this root resh tzaddik um, is also a related to ratzon, ratzeh, to want, will, right? We talk about will. So, and he hurried. It is related to will in the Hebrew. Likratam. So this is in the infinitive. Likrat means to. So this is a little bit strange because koreh, right? The root of resh aleph, it means to call, but likrat, which appears to be a four-letter verb, is used so much to mean to greet or to meet, right? That it's kind of, I would say it is a conjugation of to call, right? That's how I view it. Or you could even say it's a four-letter root, not really a normal thing in Hebrew, but likrat, right? We could talk about likrat kala, to welcome a bride. Um, yeah, to welcome, to greet, right? Likratam. Mi petach. So prepositional mem. Petach is again the opening. Ha ohel, again, this is in the construct. Ohel, again, written without above intent, like we had before. And here we come upon another strange verb, vayishtachu arza. Um, so, okay, this is okay. So this is a verb that is actually a very if you go here and you look at the verbs, so you'll see that they even have a hishtafel stem. They claim hishtafel, and they claim that the only verb that is hishtafel is hishtachava, right? Um, I think it's a lot simpler than this. I don't believe that 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 this root that they're saying here, chaf, chet vav yud, chet vav hey, according to them, to prostrate. Um, I don't believe there is a hishtafel. I think that this is just a normal hitpa'el, right? And what happens is, so let's just be clear. The root here is shin vav. I mean chet vav hey or chet vav yod. Uh, um, and I guess you could put chet vav yod hey. I would put chet vav hey and put it in the hit palel. And let's look at um, oh, okay, no. So they're saying there is I would say that the root is actually shin chet vav, okay, in the hitpael. So you'll see that this, in my opinion, looks very close, right? Um, present part mishtachavu, right? Mishtachave, which is how we say it in present tense, right? Lehishtahavot. I think this is the binyan here. I this is very controversial. What exactly this particular root, how it. So I believe it starts with a shin, and in the hit pa'el, what happens is when you have the first root is a pei, the pei hapoel, the first root is a shin. It switches with the taf. Okay, so and this is something that happens a lot, right? Lehishtalem, right? Shalom is a root, obviously, that's very common, and if you put it in the in the hitpael, it comes mishtalem, right? Mishtalem. The shin comes before the taf, right? So um, it means to bow, to prostrate, to worship. And this is one of the things that um, gets discussed a lot. This is a root. You might want to look in your concordance. So what exactly is going on here? This is in, I would say, like they're saying, in the hitpael, right? There is a vav at the beginning, right? Yishtachavu, I would say, is third person masculine plural. They're saying third person masculine singular. I would say that yishtachaveh would be third person singular. Yishtachavu, I would say, is the is in the plural. Let's look at so it's in the imperfect yishtachavu, right? Masculine, third person, masculine, plural, right? Yishtachav, yishtachev is how the constructor yishtachev is how the constructor would do it in the singular. Okay, yishtachev. Yishtachavu seems to me to be in the plural. So I would say they bowed. But Christians, for certain reasons, which obviously three visiting, there's the whole thing of the Trinity, which doesn't quite make sense because of what is believed about the Father. I won't get into it too much, but this is one of those verses that people get themselves into trouble with. Anyway, I would say Veishtachavu is quite clearly, and they bowed artsa to the ground. So let me explain the artsa here. That hey at the end is the directional hey. Okay, and you can look that up. Um, directional hey. Does it have the directional hey? I thought it had the directional hey. Adverb, adjective, direction, infinitive, directional. Um, yeah, suffix directional hey. So they do have it. It says suffix. There it is. Suffix directional hey. That's what's going on with artsa there. Towards the ground, right? Eretz means the ground. Artsa means towards the ground, right? And they bowed towards the ground. So and they prostrated themselves, I'd say, completely, right? Okay. So let's look at what King James does with verse 2. And he lifted his eyes and looked, and lo, that's how they're translating the hine, lo, three men stood by him, and when he saw them, he ran to meet them from the tent door and bowed himself toward the ground. So they're saying he bowed. That's not how I would translate it. We'll see. Maybe Chabad does it like that too. That's doesn't seem like it to me. But okay, NIV. Abraham looked up and saw three men standing nearby. When he saw them, he hurried um, from the entrance of his tent to meet them and bowed low to the ground. So they're leaving it unclear who bowed. I mean, they're implying that Abraham bowed. Um, actually, that's how they're translating it in Chabad is translating it too. And he lifted his eyes and saw, and behold, three men were standing beside him. And he saw, and he ran toward them from the entrance of the tent, and he prostrated himself to the ground. So they're saying like that. Does Rashi say? Rashi does not talk about it either. Yishtachavu? Yishtachu? I mean, maybe it's used in other places. Seems to me like it should be. There's so here is the one we looked at. Likrata. So in 19:1, it's also Likrata Veishtachu Apayim Arza. Venishtachav Veishtachu Abram Veishtachu La'am Haaretz. So yeah, I guess yeah. Veishtachu, yeah. It looks like it's in the singular, but then Veishtachave, well, that's Veishtachave, and I will. Et Divrehem Veishtachu Arza. Yeah, again, one Veishtachu. So, apparently it actually gets doubled. The vav gets doubled when it's veishtachavu is when it's plural. Veishtachu is singular. Yeah, that's double as well. That's double. You verachal veishtachavu, and they bowed. משתחווים והשתחוות. Achei Yosef Ishtachavud, again with the double. Yeah, I guess it's with a double vav when when it's yeah. This is an irregular verb. It is. like I said, and it's one of those verbs people get. Okay. Um, if if you want a whole thing on hishtachavot, ask in the comments honestly. But from what I'm seeing here, it's the vav gets doubled. Veishtachu is the singular. Veishtachavu is the plural, which is strange. Okay, let's keep going. And that's did we finish? Yeah, and he prostrated him. So Veishtachu is in the singular. Okay, I will go with that. Vayomer Adonai im na matzati chen be'enecha al na tavor me'al avdecha. So, again, Vayomer. So we've had this a ton of times. Conjunctive of, it's an imperfect. The root is aleph mem rish, which is speaking in the less harsh manner than diber. And here, this word literally means my lords in the plural. Okay? And this is how we pronounce the tetragrammaton in the Hebrew, which is why it gets translated as Lord. Obviously, we don't say the tetragrammaton. We have lost the method of saying the tetragrammaton, so we don't mention it. But my lords in the plural is how we refer to God. And, and here he's saying to them, Adon means Lord, master, right? My masters in the plural. Adoni would be my master in the singular. And as usual, there's no vav there. Im is the conjunction if, interrog. Well, yeah, I guess. It's if. Here is an yeah. Na, it's an interjection. They're translating as na. Now, I usually translate it as please, right? Matzati, I have found matzati. Very common. This is in the perfect mem tzadik aleph is the root to find, right? Matzati, I found. It's call perfect. First person singular. Common singular. Chen is favor, grace. Usually it's translated as grace. Favor is fine. Be'enecha, in your eyes. And the your is singular. Right? Even though he said my lords in the plural, he's now saying your eyes. The eyes is plural, right? Be'enecha. Be'encha would be your eye in the singular, but the you is in the singular. It's not all y'all. Okay? So, yeah, prepositional bet in your eyes. Noun. Right. Al here means not. Na. Again, same thing. I usually translate as please. They're translating in two ways in the same sentence. Al not. Please do not. I pray do not, right? It's the interjection na. Ta'avor, so the root here is ayin bet resh, which is the same root as Hebrew, which means to cross, right? Ta'avor is in the imperfect. Again, in the singular, second person masculine singular, written without the vav as I guess is normal. Me'al, so prepositional mem means from. Al is the preposition with the ayin, not the aleph. From upon, avdecha. So again, like we were talking about, the word eved is servant or slave. It usually gets translated as servant, but this is the word slave in Hebrew. Your slave, and again, the you is in the singular, right? So second person masculine singular. Um, so he is talking. So we say that these three people were angels, and really, what in Judaism what we would say is that knowing that he's talking to the angels, he is ultimately addressing himself to God. Okay, let's look at King James, verse 3. And said, my Lord, if now I have found favor in thy sight, pass not away. I don't know about away, I would say over. I pray thee from thy servant. Okay? NIV. He said, if I have found favor in your eyes, my Lord, and there's a note here we'll take a look at. Do not pass your servant by. I like that better. Or eyes, Lord. Oh, they mean other than my Lord. They're saying they're with the capital Lord, as opposed to my Lord. It would be the capital Lord, right? Let's see what Chabad does with this. And he said, my lords, in the plural, right? And there's a Rashi explaining all of this, and based on Shavuot, and you can go into all of it if you like. This is a much discussed verse. My lords, if I have found favor in your eyes, please do not pass on from beside your servant. Okay? You can read the Rashis if you like. Next verse. Yukachna me'at mayim v'rachatzu raglechem v'hishani nu tachat ha'etz. Okay. Yukach. Okay, so this is a very interesting way of. So this is lakahat, right? Kach kuf het hey, to take, right? But it's in the. They're saying it's in the call passive imperfect. I would say this is in the hufal. Stem hufal, right? Which is passive form of hefil of the causative. Cause to passively cause, right? That's how I would see it. It means to take, let be taken, right? It's a very passive. It is. I mean, call passive. They're saying, yeah, it is a very passive way of saying to take, right? He's not telling them to take. He's saying let there be taken, right? Yukach na, let be brought. Okay, na, the interjection, translating as please. Ma'at ma'im, ma'at They're saying it's the adjective, yeah. A little, right? Ma'at means a little. Mayim means water. Verachatzu, so conjunctive of. The root here is resh chet tzaddik, which is to wash. Rachatzu, right? Call imperative. Yeah, I guess this is the command form, masculine plural, rachatzu. Um, yeah, and wash, rag lechem in the plural, right? Uh, rag lechem, regel means leg or feet, right? There is no distinction in the Hebrew between a leg and feet. Rag lechem, your legs in the plural, both legs and you, right? So he's definitely talking in the plural now. Vehishanu, I think the root here is shin ayin nun, which means to lean, to support. Yeah, lean. Shiftacha mishantacha. So a staff is called mishan, right? Something you lean on. So sha'an is the root, and you're saying nifal imperative, the hishanu. Let's look at the constructor here. Shin ayin nun, and they're saying it's in the hefil. No, they're saying it's in the nifal. Nifal imperative. Hishanu. Hishanu. Yeah, that is how the constructor is doing that verb to lean. I mean, they're translating rest, which makes sense. Yeah. Lean. Yeah, lie down maybe. Yeah. Hishanu tachat means under. It's a preposition under. Ha'etz, the tree. Hay is the article. Etz means a tree or wood. But here it means tree. Okay. King James, let a little water, I pray you, be fetched. Yeah, okay. And wash your feet and rest yourselves under the tree. Yep. Verse 4, let a little water be brought, and then you may all wash. I don't like the may. Your feet and rest under this tree. He's actually kind of commanding them. Okay, let's see how Chabad does it. Please let a little water be taken. Yeah, I like that better. And bathe your feet and recline under the tree. And you can see the Rashis if you like. Okay. Ve'ekha pat lechem v'sa'adu livchem achar ta'avoru ki al ken avartem al avdechem ve'yomru ken ta'aseh ka'asher dibarta. Okay, long sentence. Ve'ekha, and I will take, I will bring, okay, maybe, say I would take, pot, morsel, okay, I mean, I would probably translate, pat lechem is a construct of two words with which both of them kind of mean bread. I would probably translate it a loaf of bread, pat lechem. Pat, yeah. and lechem both are lechem is bread. Vesa'adu, conjunctive vav. The root here is samech ayin dalid, which means um, dine. To seuda is a meal. They're translating as refresh. No, I would say dine. Vesa'adu, it's in the masculine plural imperfect. Well, it's in the imperfect because it's being flipped by the conjunctive verb. Oh, they're saying it's an imperative. Yeah. Okay. Vesa'adu. Okay. Yeah. Um, because otherwise you would say sa'adu is in. I almost want to say that this is in the perfect and it's being flipped by the above. Doesn't make much of a difference. But they're saying that it's in the imperative. It's a command form. Maybe not. I would say. Okay, libchem, your hearts. So that's interesting. Lev is singular of heart, right? Libchem. So singular heart, all of you. Obviously, the simple meaning is that each of them only has one heart, right? Anyway, achar means after. They're translating as afterward. Okay. Ta'avoru, again, the root is ayin bet resh, the same root as Hebrew to pass over. So afterwards, ta'avoru, the taf puts it in the imperfect. It's the second person masculine plural. Ta'avoru, you may pass, you shall pass. Achar ta'avoru, and afterwards, you can go. Ki, conjunctive, usually translate this as because. They're translating as in as much. Okay. Al is the preposition with the ayin, not aleph. Ken, thus. So al ken, right, upon thus, usually means because. Al ken, for this, right? I would probably translate ki al ken, the whole thing as because, right? Because for this. Avartem, again, root is ein bet resh. Avartem is in the perfect, and it's the second person masculine plural. Right? You passed. Al abdechem, again, preposition with the ein aleph. Abdechem, again, eved is servant or slave. Abdechem is your, the you being plural, all y'all's servant or slave. Vayomru, so conjunctive vav, yomru is in the imperfect, but it's getting flipped because of the vav. And it's in the third person masculine plural. And they said, Ken, yes, ta'aseh, ka'asher dibarta, ta'aseh. The root is ein sin he, which means to do or to make, right? Ein sin he. Ta'aseh means you. It's in the imperfect. Yeah, they didn't say aseh. They didn't. It's not in the command form. Ta'aseh. No, thank you. Ta'aseh. You will do. Yeah. Ka'asher. It's prepositional chaf. Asher is the pronoun relative. Ka'asher means as. Dibarta, you have said, right? The root is dalad bet resh, which is the more, which is the harsher way of saying you shall say, right? Ta'aseh kasher dibarta, do as you said. Um, and ta'aseh kasher dibarta, as you have said, is a common way of saying in Hebrew, as you have said, what you said, right? Ken ta'aseh, not very. There isn't much uh, to debate about what that means. King James, and I will fetch a morsel of bread and comfort ye your hearts. After that ye shall pass on, for therefore are ye come to your servant. And they said, so do as thou hast said. Yeah. NIV, verse 5. Let me get you something to eat, so you can be refreshed and go on your way. Now that you have come to your servant, very well, they said, do as you say. Okay, this is a very figurative way of translating that means exactly the same thing, but is not in any way literal, I would say. Okay, let's see what um, Chabad does with this. And I will take a morsel of bread. So Chabad also translates pat lechem as a morsel of bread. Um, I still want to say. Well, let's see. Does pat? Where's pat used in other places? Fragment, bit, morsel. Leviticus. Oh, so break. So, pitin must come from that root to break. Yeah, licha, pat, lechem, peace. Yeah, letabalta. Pitcha bechometz, and you shall dip. Okay, yeah. Yeah, I guess. So maybe a piece of bread. I don't like the word morsel. I guess piece of bread is best. Okay. Next verse. Vayimaher Abraham ha'ohela el Sarah vayomer mahari shlosh se'im kemach solet lushi va'asi agugot. Okay. So, conjunctive of, the yud puts it in the imperfect. The root here is mem he resh, which means to rush or to hurry. Vayimaher. So he rushed. Abraham. And it's the context which is telling you that it's in the past tense. It's being flipped by the vav. Abraham ha'ohela. So the first hey here is the article. The last hey again is what we talked about, the directional hey. So ohel means tent, right? It's written without the vav as usual. Ha-ohel means the tent. Ha-ohala means towards the tent, right? Into the tent is fine, yeah. El Sarah, so prepositional, the preposition is with the aleph, not ayin. To Sarah is her name. Vayomer, and he said, right? This is the aleph mem resh, the less harsh way of speaking. Mahari, so this is the same verb, mem he resh. They're saying it's in the PL. Oh, well, I guess yemaher, memaher is always in the PL. So most verbs are either in the PAL or the PL. They don't usually do both. And maher is considered more intensive. But so this is the imperative. This is the command feminine singular form of maher, mahari, right? Shlosh se'im, 3 se'az. So a seah is a measure, is a dry measure. How much exactly it is, you can look up. I think it's supposed to be something like a liter, but shlosh se'im, 3 se'as, kemach solet. So kemach is flour or meal, right? Um, solet is a solet is fine meal, right? So fine, it's considered fine wheat, right? The better type of wheat, and it's used several times. I mean, you can use the thing, but he definitely he's telling her to take good wheat, right? Take 3 se'im of 3 seahs of uh, good wheat, fine wheat meal or whatever. Lushi. So the root here is a lamed vav shin, I would say. Lalush? No, lamed. Yeah, lamed vav shin. It's to need, yeah, as in to not as in I need something. It's as with the K, I need as in I um, to need bread or to even I think in modern Hebrew when they massage things they use that same verb. Lushi, right? Need it, right? Lushi va'asi, right? So need the bread with the K, right? Va'asi, so conjunctive of vav, and asi, right? The root here is ein sin hey, to make. Asi is the imperative. It's the command form of the feminine singular, and you make, right? Ugot. So an uga in Hebrew, um, modern Hebrew certainly, is a cake, right? Ugot, and make cakes or bread. It's in the plural with a vav bemilui there, or well, with one vav. It could have been written on 2 vavs. It's written with one vav, which I think is the normal way of doing it. Yeah, ugot. Um, bread, maybe. I mean, yeah, we'll see how the other things translated. Let's look at the King James, verse 6. And Abraham hastened into the tent unto Sarah and said, make ready quickly. Okay, 3 measures. So they're translating sa'ah as a measure of fine meal, knead it, and make cakes upon the hearth. Upon the hearth? Don't know where they got the upon the hearth. Let's see what NIV says. Verse 6. So Abraham hurried into the tent to Sarah. Quick, he said, get 3 seahs of the finest flour. So let's finest flour. Yeah, I like that. And knead it and bake some bread. Okay. Let's look at their note here. That is probably 36 pounds, about 36 pounds or about 16 kilograms. Really? A sa'ah is 12 pounds? That seems like a lot. I'm not sure. I'm not a big measures person. let's look what Chabad does. And Abraham hastened to the tent to Sarah, and he said, hasten 3 seah of meal and fine flour, knead and make cakes. Okay. Rashi, the fine flour used by cooks to cover the pot, to drown the okay. That seems sa'ah is a measure, biblical measure. Let's look at what. Medium kazay. 9 U.S. quarts, 8.5 liters. So about 6 gallons. That's a lot. The Jewish Study Bible estimates 2 U.S. gallons. So one is 14. Yeah. Good luck. Sorry, I'm not a huge measures person, but 30, that seems like a lot of pounds. 36 pounds of wheat? Seems like too much to me. Okay. Where did my... Okay, there we go. Next. Verse 7. Ve'el habakar ratz Abraham vayikach ben bakar rach vatov vayiten el hana'ar vayimaher la'asot oto. Okay. So conjunctive verb, el is the preposition with the aleph, not ayin. Ha bakar, the bakar is cattle. They're saying the herd. So the hay is the article. So he ran to the cattle, the herd. Okay. Rots ran. the Rots is definitely in the perfect. The root I would say is resh vav tzadek. We talked about the running. Abraham's been doing a lot of running and rushing in this chapter, hasn't he? It's in the call perfect, third person masculine singular. That's pretty clear. And again, I mean, like we said, Ratz does have an aspect of will in it. Abraham is his name. Vayikach. So this time he's taking conjunctive vav. The yud puts it in imperfect, but it's being flipped by that vav. The root here is what I would say lakachat, quf, het, hey, which we've talked about a lot, and he took, right? Well, it's in the imperfect. It's becoming perfect. Yeah. Ben Bakar. So Ben Bakar, literally Ben means a son, right? Ben Bakar means the son of a cattle, but he took a. I would not translate that Ben as a son. Ben Bakar, I would say, because the Bakar seems like it means herd here. He took one of the herd, right? He took one of the cattle. Rach meaning tender. It's an adjective meaning tender. So he took must have been a young one, small one. Vat tov. So conjunctive of vav. Not sure why it's not vetov. But it's vatov. Not precisely sure why that is. Tov, as usual, good, written with a vav. Vayiten. So conjunctive vav. This is to give or to pose. Latet, right? Which is a very irregular verb, which we see a lot. This is how it is. There's nothing strange here, and he gave it. El is the preposition with the aleph, not ayin. Ha-na'ar, the young man. Nar is a young man. The young man, which would probably be Isaac here. I think that's what Rashi says. To the young man, or a young man. Ha-na'ar, it does have the article. Vayimaher, and he hurried, he hastened, right? Again, this is the same root, mem hey resh, to uh, to rush, to be quick, right? Nothing strange there. La'asot, the root is ayin sin hey. This is the imperative. The infinitive. And he rushed to do it. So the nar, I'm guessing, is and the young man hastened la'asot oto. So literally to make it, right? This is the direct object marker oto. If it was with, it would be ito. Oto means it, right? So he went to prepare it, to make it, right? To do everything necessary for it, right? Um, okay, let's look at verse 7. And Abraham ran unto the herd and fetched a calf tender and good, and gave it unto a young man. What translates as the young man, and he hastened to dress it. Okay. NIV. Then he ran to the herd and selected a choice tender calf and gave it to a servant. I'm not sure why they went with servants instead of young man, who hurried to prepare it. About that who. I'm not a. I don't like that NIV so much. Let's look at what. And to the cattle did Abraham run, and he took a calf, tender and good, and he gave it to the youth, and he hastened to prepare it. And as Rashi says, this was Ishmael. Okay. Ben Bakar Rach L'Tov. So the Talmud says, Ben Bakar Rach L'Tov to show that it was actually 3 calves. Okay. Ben Bakar Rach L'Tov. Okay. You can look at the Talmud there. Vayikach chem'ah v'chalav uven habakar asher asa vayiten livnehem v'hu omed alehem tachat ha'etz vayochelu. So this is actually, you would not consider this a controversial verse, and it's not really controversial, but it's a something that a young Jewish person learning the Torah always starts questioning, because vayikach, and he took, we talked about lakachat chem'ah. So chem'ah is they're saying butter, I would say cream, curd, they're translating it as curdled milk. It may be poetic. Chem'ah, cheese, butter. Okay. Okay, chem'ah, v'chalav, so conjunctive vav, chalav, and he milked. This is a okay. So the root here is chet lamed bet, which can mean chalev is fat. Chalav is milk, and it's actually you can use it as a verb to milk something, right? L'chalev, I think it is. But he took chema v'chalav. So he took chema, butter, curd, chalav, milk, uven habakar, and the calf, right? With the article, right? So this is what gets strange because in Judaism, we of course do not serve meat and milk together, um, and I mean, obviously this is before the Torah, but this becomes a huge conversation. What exactly he did? So, and the explanation generally given is that first he served um, the butter and the milk, and then he served the calf. Um, and obviously, it makes sense that it would take a much longer time, right? And yes, we would, as Jews, we would have dairy products before meat. We would not have dairy products with meat. We wouldn't even have dairy products after meat without waiting some usually about 6 hours. Okay, Asher Asa, Uven Habakar, and this. So this is Ben and Bakar is in Smichut. That's why the article is on the last of the construct nouns. Asher is the pronoun relative, that which. Asa, root is ayin sin hey, to make, and it's in the kal perfect. Vayiten lifnehem, and the root here is to give, latet, which we've discussed many times. Not is an irregular verb. What exactly? I would probably put latet under nun. Yeah, nun taf nun, like they have it. Yeah, but understand that it gets. I mean, it's used so much that it's pretty clear what it means wherever it's used. Okay, Vayitan, and he said it, he put it, he gave it. Lifnehem, so in front of them. Literally means to their face, but lifnehem means before them, in front of them. And yes, ham with the hey, that's the third person masculine plural, third person, right? Masculine plural, not the second person. The who omed, and he, so conjunctive of who means he, right? Is the pronoun third person masculine singular. Omed, the root here is ein mem dalid, which means to stand, and omed, written without the vav, as usual, is the participle. It's the present tense of the kal symbol. Alehem, upon them. This is with the ayin, not with the aleph. Near them, it's preposition, right? And he stood over them, upon them, and I would actually almost say this, he waited upon them. Tachat, meaning under, ha'etz, meaning the tree, with the article. Vayochelu, so the root is aleph chaf lamed, which means to eat or to consume. Vayochelu, and they ate. Third person masculine plural. There's no vav after the yud, as you would expect. Okay. Verse 8. And he took butter and milk and the calf which he had dressed, and set it before them, and he stood by them under the tree, and they did eat. Did eat? And say they ate. Okay. And he then brought some curds and milk, and the calf that had been prepared, and set these before them. Yeah, set them. Yeah. While they ate, he stood near them under a tree. Mm, okay, not a huge fan, but okay. Um, come on. And he took cream and milk and the calf that he had prepared, and he placed them. I love the fact that they put the brackets there before them, and he was standing over them under the tree, and they ate. Right? And you can look at the Rashis. This whole thing apparently Baba Metzia that has describes it. You can look in the Talmud if you like. Okay, verse 9. Vayomer alav. Ooh. So this is very interesting. Um, there are places in the Bible where there are dots over certain things in the scroll. Let me see if I can look this up. Bereshit. This is Vayera already, right? Yeah, so Vayera. Sadu Vayimer Lasset Abraham. Okay, so you see that alav here? Notice the three dots over it inside the scroll. The scroll has dots, which is which is not something you usually see, right? So the right side here is with the vocalizations, but there is a tradition that this particular um, word has dots over it, and the scribes continue to do that. We'll see if Rashi says why, but so that's why that's there. Okay. And it was very nice of Bible Hub to maintain those dots there. Okay. Yeah, there's apparently a dot over each of the letters. Interesting. We'll see what Rashi says. Okay. Elav, Aye Sarah Ishtecha Vayomer Hine Ba'ohel. Okay. Vayomru, we've had this many times. The root is Aleph Mem Resh, to say. They said, Elav, to him. The root is, the preposition is with the Aleph, not the Ayin. Elav, to him. Aye is an interrogatory where. Aye, right? Sarah is her name. Ishtecha, your wife. Isha means wife. Eshet is the construct form. Ishtecha is your second person masculine singular, your wife. Vayomer, and he said, Hine, so again, the interjection, usually behold, I translate, but he's saying here they're translating, Ba-ohel. So prepositional bet with an article. Ohel is the tent, written as usual, without a vav. Ba-ohel. Okay. 18:9. And they said unto him, where is Sarah thy wife? And he said, behold, in the tent. Okay. NIV, where is your wife Sarah? They asked him. Asked. I don't like that they translate. They change. It's not literal. There. No, here. I would not translate it as there. in the tent, he said. Okay. Chabad. And they said to him, where is Sarah, your wife? And he said, behold, in the tent. And Rashi is going to explain to us why we have dots there. Elav, Hebrew, Elav, there are dots over the letters Aleph, Ayin, Vav in the word Elav. So that's strange. They actually put dots also over the Lamed. They put it, yeah, which they shouldn't have. But, okay. And we learned, Rabbi Shimon, the son of Eleazar, says, wherever the letters are more than the dotted ones, you must expound on the undotted letters, etc. And here, the dotted letters are more than the... So, okay, if in the word there are more dotted, so you... Okay. There are more dotted letters and okay. The meaning is that they also asked Sarah, Ayo is Abraham. We learn that a person should ask in his lodging place of the husband about the wife and of the wife about the husband. In Bava Metzia, it is said knew where our mother Sarah was, but they asked in order to make known that she was modest, in order to endear her to her husband. Said Rabbi Joseph, the son of Hanina, in order to send her a cup of blessing. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Might be. I mean, if you're interested in this chapter, probably want to look up the Talmud Bava Metzia, pages 86 through 87. And Sefaria obviously has an entire Talmud available in the English. Okay, next. So I hope you understand what's going on here with the dotted letters. So there were 3 dotted letters, 1 undotted letters. And the way that Breita, with which Rashi brings, says is that when there are more dotted letters, you expound on the dotted letters. When there are more undotted letters, so since there's 3 dotted letters and 1 undotted letter, you look at the Aleph, Yud, Vav, and Rashi. So Rashi is, I mean, Ayo, Aye. Yeah, I guess you could say that possibly it's the masculine version of where is, although that's not really how we say Ayo. I understand where he gets it from, but he's obviously darshaning. You probably want to look in the Talmud if you're interested. Okay. Next verse. Vayomer shov ashuv elecha ka'et chaya vehine ven lesara ishtacha vesara shomat petach ha'ohel vehu acharav. Okay, that's those last 2 words are interesting. Okay, Vayomer, and he said, Shov ashuv. So this is the repetition of the same verb. The verb is shin vav bet, and in this manner, it is it's usually translated as surely, right? This repetitive emphasis in the Hebrew. Shov ashuv, I shall surely return. Return, I will return. I will surely return. The Aleph is the first person common singular of the imperfect, right? Shov ashuv, I will return. Elecha, to you. Ka'et. Elecha is with the aleph, not ayin. Ka'et is Ka'et chaya. Interesting. Okay, so et chaya. Well, they're saying chaya. Yeah, chaya is an adjective. Okay, we have a prepositional chaf, meaning like, as, to, according to, right? With an article. Okay, so to the et is a time, but it's actually a specific time, right? So et chaya, time of life, right? I will return it. So an et is a moment, is a particular moment, right? Et chaya, a living moment, a time. I guess when she gives birth, right? Et chaya, to the time of birth, yes, of life. Et chaya. Interesting. Might look at the Rashis. Vehine, and behold, so conjunctive of, and hine is the interjection, which usually translated as behold. Ben lasara, there shall be a son, right? So there's no present tense of the verb to be in Hebrew. So behold, ben lasara, son. Le is a prepositional lamed, means to, right? There'll be Sarah will have a son. Ben lasara. Ishtacha, your wife. Okay. Vesara, so and conjunctive of, right? And Sarah, that's her name. Shomat, the root here is shin mem ayin, meaning to hear, right? Shomat means she heard. She hears. It's the present tense participle of lishmoa. Shomat. She, feminine singular. She heard, and it's without a vav, as you would expect. Petach ha'ohel. Petach meaning opening. Ha'ohel, right? It's in the construct form with tent, the tent, right? As usual, written without a vav. Vehu acharav. So this is what I was wondering. Conjunctive of, who is the third person masculine singular pronoun, right? He, acharav, was I get it now. The tent was behind him. So they were talking to him, and they were saying, and she was at the entrance of the tent that was behind him, behind Abram. Okay, Abraham. King James, verse 10, and he said, I will certainly return unto thee according to the time of life. And lo, Sarah thy wife shall have a son. And Sarah heard it in the tent door, which was behind him. Yeah. NIV. Then one of them said, and he said, one of them said, I will surely return to you about this time next year. Okay. About this time? Chaya? Okay. We'll see what Rashi says. And Sarah, your wife, will have a son. Now Sarah was listening at the entrance of the tent, which was behind him. Yeah, pretty much. There's a long Rashi. Okay. And he said, I will surely return to you at this time next year, and behold, your wife Sarah will have a son. And Sarah heard from the entrance of the tent, and it was behind him. Okay, let's read this. At this time of the coming year, Ka'et Chaya, it was Passover on the following Passover, Isaac was born. since we do not read ke'et, but ka'et, right, with the article, right? He's talking about the vocalization is the time of ka'et chaya means at this time when there will be life for you, when you will all be alive and well. Ka'et chaya. I guess he's saying ka'et, and in that time, and I almost want to say because it's springtime. I will surely return. The angel did not announce that he himself would return to him, but he was speaking to him as an emissary of the omnipresent. Similarly, okay, so this is a Jewish thing. We believe that angels are a one-time thing, right? So um, he Rashi's actually reading this surely to say that God will send another messenger because we believe a malach does his thing once and once only, and it was behind him. Rashi saying the acharav is going on is talking about the angel. She was listening from behind the angel, not behind Abraham. And it's not clear, which is why Rashi says. I'm not sure why Rashi says what he says, but he's explaining. This is one of the things you can look on all kinds of commentaries. Okay, verse 11. V'Abraham v'Sarah zekenim bayim bayamim chadal lihyot l'Sarah orach kanashim. Okay. So, conjunctive of Abraham, Vesara, conjunctive of again, Sarah, Zekenim. So, the root here is Zayin of Nun, which means old, and it also means beard, right? Zekenim, so it's the masculine plural of the adjective old. I don't think Sarah had a beard. I'm joking. Bayim bayami. So this is an interesting way of saying it. It's a kind of Jewish, Hebrew saying. Bayim bayami. The bayim comes from the root bet aleph hey, which means to come. Bayim bayamim, coming in the days. Bayamim has it's prepositional bet with the article. Yamim is noun masculine plural of days. Bayim bayamim means in many days. They well advanced in age, right? This is, it's a saying. It doesn't translate literally. I wouldn't translate it literally. Well advanced in age makes sense, right? So they were zekanim, bayim bayamim. They were pretty old. Chadal, this is a root I am not familiar with. Het daled lamed. I don't know how many times it shows up. Chadal. Apparently a lot of times. That is 58 occurrences to cease. That is a lot of times. Apparently it shows up a lot in Judges and in Ruth. Okay. To cease, to stop. Okay. Hadal makes sense. Ceased, stopped, right? It's called perfect, simplest form of the thing. Lihyot is the infinitive of the verb to be, right? Chadal lihyot l'sara, so stopped being, right? To be, being, yeah. Let Sarah, to Sarah, prepositional lamed, Sarah is her name. Orach means way, the way, path, away, yes, orach. Ka nashim, the way, ka is prepositional chaf, with the article. So as nashim is women, plural. So though she had stopped being for Sarah the way of women. Okay, they're saying the childbearing age of women. I think it's obvious what it's saying. Okay. Verse 11. Now Abram and Sarah were old and well stricken in age. I don't want to say stricken. And it ceased to be with Sarah after the manner of women. Yeah, that's how I would translate it. NIV. Um, Abraham and Sarah were already very old, and Sarah was past the age of childbearing. Very figurative, not literal. Um, Chabad. Now Abraham and Sarah were old, coming on in years. Yeah, they're being more literal. Sarah had ceased to have the way of women. Yeah, sure. Okay. ותצחק שרה בקרבה לאמור אחרי בלותי הייתה לי עדנה ואדוני זקן. So, conjunctive of titzchak. The root here is tzadek het qof, which means to laugh. And that's where the word yitzchak comes from, will laugh. Titzchak is the feminine singular of the imperfect. So she laughed, right? And it's being flipped because of the vav, from the imperfect to the perfect. And Sarah laughed. Bekirba. So kerev, gofresh bet means close, right? Karov means close. Bekirba means in within herself, right? Bekirba. So prepositional bet, and the hey there is the third person feminine singular in her kerev, and within herself. She close to herself. She laughed, not loudly, not but she laughed. She's like, le'emor. That's the infinitive of to say, aleph mem resh, saying acharei, after, right? Achar means after. Acharei, again, after. Baloti. Veloti. I am not familiar with this word. Veloti. Bala. To become old, to wear out. Shows up 17 times in the Bible. Livlot. Levalot. Shaul. Psalm 49:14. You might want to take a look at that. To waste away, to fail, to wear out, decay. Okay? So the root is a bet laban hey, and she's saying beloti. I have grown old. In the infinitive. Okay, beloti. Yeah. Acharei beloti, after I have grown old. Yeah. Okay. Haita. So haita is the third person feminine singular of the perfect of the verb to be. Haita. Very common. Haita li. So, yes, this is the perfect, but it's because she's asking. That's why it's in the perfect. Haitali, will it be that I, haitali, for me, li, prepositional lamed, li means first person common singular, will be for me, shall there be for me, edna. So Eden, like Gan Eden, right? The is pleasure. I would say youth. Eden, right? Gan Eden, Edna. She's Adanim, luxurious. Mm, dainties, delight, delicate. Huh, okay. It is the same as Gan Eden. Okay, Edna, pleasure. Okay. The Adoni, so conjunctiva. Adon, like we said before, means master or lord, husband, right? Adoni, my husband, my lord, my master. Without above, as usual. It's not strange. Zaken is old, right? Um, they're saying that it's. I would have said it's the adjective zaken, but they're saying it's the verb zaken. Not very different, right? We already talked about zakenim, um, beard or old. Okay, and King James, verse 12. Therefore, Sarah laughed within herself, saying, "Am I waxed old? After I am waxed old, shall I have pleasure, my Lord, being old also?" Not very literal translation, NIV. So Sarah laughed to herself as she thought, "After I am worn out and my Lord is old, will I now have this pleasure?" And Chabad. And Sarah laughed within herself, saying, "After I have become worn out, will I have smooth flesh?" The Edna, yeah, is how Rashi's doing it. You can look at the Rashis if you like. And apparently also, well, he's talking about, okay, not going to do the Rashis. And also, my master is old. Okay. Just going to see. Verse 13. Vayomer Havaya el Abraham, lama zet tzachka Sarah lemor, ha'af umnam eled v'ani zakanti. So God was not very happy about that, apparently. So conjunctive vav, amar is the less harsh way of speaking. Aleph mem resh. Havaya is the tetragrammaton. El is the preposition with the aleph not ayin. Abraham. Lama, why? It's the interrogatory. Lama, why? Ze, this one. So it's very strange. I wouldn't say that the ze is going because it's in the masculine. So he's not saying why did she laugh. He's saying, why is this? Why is this? Right? Lamazet, why is this? This. Sachaka, so the root is tzadik chet qaf, right? To laugh. Sachaka is the feminine singular, right? She laughed. Sarah laughed le'emor, saying, ha'af. So the hey there is the article, but it turns the whatever is being said into a question. So af umnam, af here meaning as um, as if af even maybe, right? So is it even? They're translating this as conjunctive. Umnam comes from the root amen, aleph mem nun, right? Um, Amen means that root means to believe, to have faith. Umnam, surely, yeah. is probably, yeah. Might want to look in your concordance. Verily, truly, indeed. Only shows up 5 times. Um, it comes from the root amen, right? Omen, they're saying. Um, anyway, umnam, surely. Eled, so the root here is lamed daled he, to give birth. Eled, I will give birth. It's putting in an imperfect first person common singular. Va'ani, so conjunctive vav, ani means I. It's the short form of I, zakanti. So the root, so this is actually definitely a verb. Um, uh, the root is zayin pofnon, to be old, also beard, as we said before. Zakanti, I have gotten old. Um, right? It's the perfect of, it's the simple perfect, the call perfect of first person common singular of this verb. I have gotten old. Okay. King James, verse 13, and the Lord said unto Abraham, wherefore did Sarah laugh, saying, shall I of a surety bear a child, which am old? Okay. NIV. Then the Lord said to Abraham, why did Sarah laugh and say, will I really have a, I like the really, I would agree with that, have a child now that I am old? Okay, Chabad. And the Lord said to Abraham, why did Sarah laugh, saying, is it really true that I will give birth, although I am old? Okay. Honestly, you should probably look up at the Talmud in Baba Metzia there. Okay, next verse. Hayipaleh mehavaya davar lamoed ashuv elecha ka'et chaya ulesara ben. Okay, so this is a strange way of doing things. The root here is pe lamed aleph, right, which means a miracle. Okay, Yipale isn't too difficult, right? It's in the imperfect of the nifal, right? Um, Yipale, it's a miraculous, right? It would be miraculous. It's they're saying it's in the nifal, which I agree with, meaning it's in the passive. The hey at the beginning turns it into a question. Is it too hard, right? Is it miraculous? Is it such a, right? Is it too much? Meh havaya, so prepositional mem, havaya is the tetragrammaton. Davar, so the root here is dalet bet resh, means to speak, or a little bit more harshly, but it's also a thing, right? Is anything too much for God? La moed, so prepositional lamed with the article, right? Moed with vav written fully here. I'm not sure it always is. Moed obviously is a holiday. It's a time, appointed time. Okay, it's a set time. So la moed at the appointed time, la moed, which we would say is Passover, right? Again, next year this time, I guess. Ashuv, the root here is shin vav bet, to return. Ashuv, I will return. Elecha, to you, with the aleph, not the ayin. Ka'et, chaya, like we had before again, right? It's prepositional chaf with the article et, meaning a tone, meaning a moment or a specific time. Ka'et chaya, time of life. Ula ben. same thing as we had before, and Sarah shall have a son, right? And there shall be for son, right, for Sarah a son. Okay, verse 14, King James, is anything too hard for the Lord? At the appointed time I will return unto thee according to the time of life, and Sarah shall have a son. Yeah. NIV, is anything too hard for the Lord? I will return to you at the appointed time next year, and Sarah will have a son. Chabad, is anything hidden from the Lord? And that's based on the Rashi. You can look in your concordance. Yes, I can understand the being hidden. Yeah. At the appointed time, I will return to you at this time next year, and Sarah will have a son. Yeah, I understand translating as hidden, because obviously Abraham knew that God could do a miracle, but God's like saying, "Hey, what are you thinking? I said it will happen. What's your problem with that?" Okay, next verse. ותכחש שרה לאמור לא צחקתי כי יראה ויאמר לא כי צחקת. Very interesting. Okay, the root here is chaf chet shin, which means to deny, I believe. To disappoint, deceive, fail, grow lean. Yeah. Actually, shows up 22 times in the Bible. That's quite a few. Deal falsely, belie. Okay, vatechachesh. So conjunctive of, it's in the feminine singular. That's why it's in the imperfect. It's getting flipped in the PL. Okay. Sarah is her name. Le'emor, saying, right? We've had le'emor several times now. Lo, no. Tzachakti. Again, the root is tzadik chet qof, to laugh. Tzachakti, I laughed. Ki, for, because. Yare'ah. So the root here is Yud Resh Aleph, not Resh Aleph Hey. Yare'ah means is the feminine, third person feminine singular, perfect of to be afraid, to be in awe. Right? She was afraid. Vayomer, and he said, conjunctive of, Yomer is a third person masculine singular. We've had Amar many times. Lo, no. Ki, but, right, it's the conjunction. It is that sachakt, you laughed. Second person feminine singular of tzochek, tzadik chet of, to laugh. Okay. Verse 15. Then Sarah denied, saying, I laughed not, for she was afraid. And he said, Nay, but thou didst laugh. Okay. NIV, Sarah was afraid, so she lied and said, I did not laugh. But he said, yes, you did laugh. Okay. Chabad, and Sarah denied, saying, I did not laugh because she was afraid. And he said, no, but you laughed. And you can look at the Rashis there. And yes, there's a whole thing in Rosh Hashanah of the 4 ways of translating ki. Okay. The Talmud Rosh Hashanah. It's a Masechta. It's a tractate. Vayakumu, vayakimu misham ha'anashim, vayashkifu al pnei stom, va'Avraham holech imam leshalcha. Okay. So the root here is Kof Vav Mem, Vayakimu, and they got up, right? Lakum means to get up, and they got up. The third person masculine plural. Misham, from there. Prepositional mem. Sham means there. Ha-anashim, the men. Vayashkifu. The root here is shin qaf pei, which is a way of saying to look. Usually we say ra'ah, to appear, to see, right? This is a different verb, to look. And actually glasses, right? Seeing glasses are called mishkafayim in Hebrew. But anyway, vayashkifu, and they looked. It's in the Hefil, and they caused to look, vayashkifu, and it's written bechisaron without a yud. That's an interesting use. And they caused to look. Hefil. And they caused to look. Interesting. Al penei stom. So al is the preposition with the ayin. Penei, towards, face of, upon, right? Penei stom. Stom is the city, Sodom. Va'Avraham, and Abraham. Holech, right? So the root here is lamed chaf he, right? Holech, he is the participle of halach. Is it hey lamed chaf? Yeah, it is. Yeah, halach. Hey lamed chaf. Yeah. Lalechet. See, that's the weird thing. It's sometimes lamed hey chaf hey. Anyway, yeah, he went. Holech imam. He participle in the present tense. Imam. Im means with. Imam means with them. Third person masculine plural. Leshalcham, to send them. The root here is shin lamed chet. Sorry, meaning to send or to create agents or to send. Leshalcham, to send them away. Right. Yeah, it's in the infinitive. Leshalach. Leshalcham means to send them. King James, verse 16. And the men rose up from thence, okay, and looked towards Sodom, and Abraham went with them to bring them on the way. I would say send them on their way, but okay. NIV. When the men got up to leave, they looked down toward Sodom. Down. I don't know where they got down from. And Abraham walked along with them to see them on their way. Yeah, okay. I'm not sure I would use the see just because it makes it sound like a thing. Okay. And the men arose from there, and they looked upon Sodom, and Abraham went with them to escort them. Let's see what vayashkifu. Whenever the word hashkafa occurs in scripture, it denotes evil, except Deuteronomy 26:15, hashkifa. For the power of gifts to the poor is so great that it converts the divine attribute of wrath to mercy. That's from the Midrash. Okay, so I mean, you can look in your concordance. Apparently, for some reason, Deuteronomy 26 is the only place where that is different. Okay, okay. To a score. Verse 17, Vahavaya Amar Hamechase Ani Abraham Asher Ani Ose. Interesting. Conjunctive of Havaya is the tetragrammaton. Amar said, right? Hamechase. So again, that hey is turning it into a question. The root here is kisui. Chaf sin he means to cover, right? Ha mechase. This is the PL participle. It's ha mechase. Do I hide, right? In the present tense. Ani is the pronoun first person common singular in the short form, not the long form. Me Abraham. Do I hide from Abraham? Well, okay, not that he's hiding himself, but am I covering something over from Abraham? Am I keeping something from him? Me Abraham, prepositional mem. Abraham is obviously the name. Asher is the pronoun relative. That, what, that which. Ani, again, pronoun first person common singular. Ose, I is the participle, is the present tense of the of saying, of doing, right? Lasot, ein sin he. Okay, verse 17. And the Lord said, "Shall I hide from Abraham that thing which I do?" Not sure. Shall I hide? Okay. NIV. Then the Lord said, "Shall I hide from Abraham what I am about to do?" Chabad. And the Lord said, "Shall I conceal from Abraham what I am doing?" And Rashi is explaining how the hey at the beginning of a verb turns it into a question. Verse 18. Abraham hayo yihye legoy gadol va'atzum v'nivrechu bo kol goye haaretz. Interesting. So conjunctive of Abraham is his name. Hayo yihye is again that sort of the doubling over. So they're translating as surely of the verb to be. Hayo yihye. Shall surely be, right? To be will be. Let goy, prepositional lamed, so to or a. Goy meaning nation. Gadol meaning great or big, right? Written with above as is usual. The root is gimel daled lamed, which means to raise, to grow, to or great or big. Ve'atzum, so conjunctive vav. Atzum means mighty, right? I think the root here is ayin tzadik mem, which means essence or bone, right? Ve'atzum. With a vav as is normal. Great. Gadol va'atzum is actually something we see a lot. V'nivrechu, so this is an interesting way of putting it. Conjunctive vav, this is, the root here is a bet resh chaf, which means to bless, but nivrechu is in the nif'al. It's in the passive. So, shall be blessed, right? V'nivrechu, because it's getting flipped by the vav, obviously. Third person collective plural. Vo, in him, right? Prepositional bet. The vav is third person masculine singular, in him. Kol, meaning all. Goye haaretz. So goyim is masculine plural. Goye is in the construct form with eretz, right? So the nations of the land, right? Not just kol goyim, but kol goye haaretz, of the land, of the earth. The article goes on the last noun in the construct, in the smichus. Verse 18, seeing that Abraham shall surely become a great and mighty nation, and all the nations of the earth shall be blessed in him. Yeah, I can agree with that. NIV, Abraham will surely become a great and powerful nation, and all nations on earth will be blessed through him. Okay. Chabad, and Abraham will become a great and powerful nation, and all the nations of the world will be blessed in him. Okay. I don't think there's much difference between the various ones there. Okay. Ki yadativ lama'an asher yetzaveh et banav ve'et beito acharav v'shamru derech havaya la'asot tzedakah u'mishpat lama'an havi havaya al Abraham et asher diber alav. Interesting verse. Ki, because, yadativ, so the root here is dalet ayin he, to know. Yadativ means I have known him, right? They're saying it's in the perfect, yadati means I have known, I knew. Yadati means known him. Lama'an, so lama'an means because or in order. Yadati lama'an asher yitzaveh. Here it kind of means that. I have known him that. Asher. Asher is the pronoun relative. Lama'an asher. Yitzaveh. The root here is tzadik vev he, to command. Yitzaveh is in the imperfect. Right? He shall command. So that, lama'an asher, so that, in order that, he may command, he will command. Et is the direct object marker. Banav, his children, right? And if you're wondering why children, Ishmael is going to be sent away. Well, first of all, but remember, Abraham's had 6 more sons after Isaac, after Sarah died. Everybody forgets Keturah. Don't forget Keturah. She had 6 sons from Abraham. Okay. Et banav, to his children, literally sons, but it can include daughters. I don't know that he had any daughters. Okay. Ve'et beito, so conjunctive vav, et is the direct object marker. Beit means house, beito means his house. Acharav, and after him. Veshamru, so conjunctive vav, the root is shin mem resh, to keep or to guard. Veshamru, and they kept, but it's getting flipped by the conjunctive vav to the future. Derech means a way or a street or a path, right? Derech Havaya, the way of God. It's in the construct with the name of God, right? So the way of God, the path of the Lord. And this is the tetragrammaton, obviously. La'asot is the infinitive to do of ein sin he. La'asot with a vav, which is normal. La'asot tzedakah u'mishpat. Now this is the interesting part. So tzedakah means righteousness. Tzadik daled of. But it means what is right, but in Judaism, we actually always translate it as charity, right? Kindness. Even though it literally means what is right, what is just, um, we translate tzedakah as charity because charity is what is right. So that tzedakah and mishpat. So mishpat comes from the root shin pei tet, which means to judge, right? Mishpat, conjunctive of mishpat is literally a judgment, but what is just, right? That's how they're translating it. But so tzedakah and mishpat, while it generally it means that they mean the same thing, in the Hebrew context, they're actually antonyms of sorts, right? Charity and what is the judgment, what is the law, right? Lama'an, so that havi, the root here is bet aleph hey, which means to come or to, but it's in the hefil, that yud there, the hey at the beginning and the yud. They're saying it's in the infinitive, yeah. To bring. Lama'an havi, in order to bring. Havaya, that's interesting. In order to bring God, the Lord, the Tetragrammaton, al Abraham, upon Abraham, right? That's with the ayin, not the aleph. Et asher diber alav. Lama'an hevi havaya al Abraham et asher diber alav. Right? So God knows that Abraham is going to teach his children, right? Command his children to do what is good and right, right? What is right and just. To bring about Laman Havi Avaya, to bring God al Abraham, so that God can bring unto Abraham et asher diber alav. Et, the direct object marker, asher is pronoun relative. Diber is the perfect of to speak. Dalet bet resh. Diber alav, what he said upon him, what God has spoken of him. Let's see what King James does with verse 19. For I know him, that he will command his children and his household after him, and they shall keep the way of the Lord to do justice and judgment, that the Lord may bring upon Abraham that which he hath spoken of him. Yep. NIV, for I have chosen him. Chosen. Yedativ? Chosen? I don't agree with that. So that he will direct his children, okay, Metzavet, direct, I would have translated it as command, and his household after him to keep the way of the Lord, der Chabayah, by doing what is right and just. By doing, okay. So that the Lord will bring about for Abraham what he has promised him. Okay. Chabad. For I have known him because he commands his sons and his household after him that they should keep the way of the Lord to perform righteousness and justice, in order that the Lord bring upon Abraham that which he spoke concerning him. And you can look at the Rashis, which there are quite a few of, to see other verses which similarly speak in the same language. Okay, verse 20. Vayomer Havaya Za'akat Stom Va'amora Ki Rabba V'chatatam Ki Gavda Me'od. Interesting. Huh. Okay. So, conjunctive of Yomer, and he said Havaya, is the Tetragrammaton. Za'akat Stom Va'amora. So this is in a construct form. And Zoek, right? The root here is a Zain Ayin Qof, which means to cry out. So the crying out of, it's in the construct form with the with the noun Stom, the city, right? The name of the city, and Amora, Gomorrah, right? So they're saying outcry against Za'akat. Interesting. It shows up in, yeah, I would say look at, it shows up 19 times in the Bible. It's not always as against, though. So that's interesting. Okay, you can look in your concordance, but they're saying outcry against, but the crying of Stom, whether they're causing it or they're doing it, whatever it is, one against the other possibly because they're being mean to each other, who knows? Ki Rabbah, so ki meaning because, right? It's conjunction. Rabbah means it is great, right? Rov means many, right? It's vechatatam, so conjunctive verb. The root here is chet tet aleph, which means sin, right? To miss in archery, right? Chatatam, and they're missing and their sin. Chatatam ki for kavda me'od. So kaved chaf bet daled. So chatat is in the feminine. Kavda is in the feminine, and so kavod can mean glory. It can mean heavy. I sometimes translate it as gravity, right? Ki kabda me'od, for it is very grave. Yeah, grave, I guess. It's heavy. Me'od means very, right? Strong. So their sin is very great, is very grave, is very heavy. Okay, let's look at King James, verse 20. And the Lord said, because the cry of Sodom and Gomorrah is great, and because their sin is very grievous. Okay? NIV 20. Then the Lord said, the outcry against Sodom. Did they say the cry of Sodom and Gomorrah? So, yeah. Against Sodom and Gomorrah is so great, and their sin so grievous. I would say very grievous, not so grievous. Okay, Chabad. And the Lord said, since the cry of Sodom and Gomorrah has become great, and since their sin has become very grave. Yeah. Okay. Verse 21. Erada na ve'er'e ha-ketsaakata haba'a elai asu kala ve'im lo eda'a. Interesting. This is a very strange sentence. Okay, so let's start. The root here is yored, right? Yod resh daled, arada, erada. They're saying it's in the imperfect cohortive. Not sure about that. I will go down. So I think they're saying it's in the cohortive because of the interjection. Please now, radana. I will go down. Let me go down, maybe? Interesting. The hey at the end seems to be the paragogic hey, which they have here. What do they call it? Suffix hey paragogic, right? And it's there. They say that the paragogic hey is imperative and emphasis, added emphasis. Seems that that's what's going on here. Is the paragogic hey at the end of these verbs. Na, please, now. It's an interjection. Ve'ere, right? So, and I will see. The root is resh aleph hey. Um, yeah, I think it's it's the paragogic hey here. Um, and I will see and see whether. Yeah, the root here is resh aleph hey to see. And I will see. Haketza'akata. So don't get this confused with the za'akat. Ta'ak and za'ak are very similar. Um, there is one letter difference between them. The one in the previous verse had zayin ayin qaf, and this is tzadik ayin qaf, and zoek means to cry, and soek also means to cry out. And you can look in your concordance to see where one or the other is used. They're very similar. They might even be related, I'm guessing. Tza'ak and za'ak. So this is a very strange word. Let's pull it apart, okay? So the tza'aka here, right, is the cry or outcry against, right? The cry. The hey at the beginning is the article, but it's asking the question, right? It's turning it into a question. The chaf is the prepositional chaf, meaning is it like the outcry? Hatza'akatha, the cry of her. Is it like the cry of her? Is it as that sounds, right? You don't often have a single word which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 letters in Hebrew. But this is in fact because it has two prefixes and two suffixes. Really, interesting. Haba'a, that comes, right? Hatakata, haba'a, and that's yeah, it's kind of in this construct that is coming, right? So this is the root here is bet aleph hey to come, haba'a that comes, right? That is coming with the article, right? Haba'a that is coming. Eli to me, and that's what the aleph not ein. Asu kala. Interesting. So asu is ein sin hey, right? It's the perfect form of to make or to do. The um, third person collective plural. Asu, they did, right? And it's in the perfect. Kala, well, they're saying all together. I kind of want to say that kala means destruction. completion, complete destruction, consumption, annihilation. Yeah. Interesting. This is a strange verse. We'll see what Rashi says. Kala, ve'im lo, and if not, so conjunctive above, im means if, right? Lo, not. Eda'et, eda'a, I will know. Da'at, dalad, ayin, hey. It would usually be edah, but again, there's all these paragogic hays in this verse. This is not a normal verse. Okay, let's see what King James says. It seems very poetic. I will go down now and see whether they have done altogether according to the cry of it, which is come unto me, and if not, I will know. Okay, NIV. That I will go down and see if what they have done is as bad as the outcry that has reached me. If not, I will know. Okay. I will descend now and see whether, according to her cry, which has come to me, they have done. I will wreak destruction upon them. Elai Asu. So this is actually going on the cantillation marks here. Kala. They will be destroyed. Ve'im lo eda'a. Interesting. Let's see what the Rashi say. I want to see this Rashi. I will descend. Now this teaches judges that they should not decide capital punishment cases unless they see they must go to the site of the crime and investigate the matter. Everything, as I explained in the chapter dealing with the dispersion, right, the Dor HaFlaga. Another explanation, I will descend to the ends of their, to look into it. Okay. Ha-ketza'akata shel medina, of the land. Which has come to me, they have done. Haba lai asu. And if they remain in their state of rebellion, I will wreak destruction upon them. But if they do not remain in their state of rebellion, I will know what I will do to punish them with suffering, but I will not destroy them. Similar to this, we find elsewhere in Shemot, Exodus 33:5. Therefore, there is a pause mark by the cantillation sign of the pasik between asu kala in order to, and to refer to a cry of a certain girl whom they killed with an unusual death, and that's in Sanhedrin. Okay. Okay, that's interesting. Okay, if you want to read it there, but they're actually going. So Rashi is explaining, and the translation is going based on the cantillation marks, which is how it is sung. There is a psik there. There is a thing between their kala, meaning to be destroyed. Yeah, this is interesting. This is one of those verses I don't think translates to English very well. It's very poetic, and it's Soek Darshuni. It is one of those verses that screams, Darshan me, explain me, right? And that's very interesting. What the Talmud says. You can look at there if you're interested. What that exactly they're doing with that outcry, because apparently the Talmud says they were particularly horrible to one particular woman, and that was part of it. Okay. ויפנו משם האנשים וילכו סדומה ואברהם עודנו עומד לפני הוויה. Interesting. So, conjunctive vav, the root here is pe nun he, which means to face, to turn to. Vayifnu, and they turned. Misham, from there. Prepositional mem, misham means there. Ha-anashim, the men, the people. Vayalchu, the root again is lechet lamet chaf he, or he lamet chaf. They went, they walked. Conjunctive of, obviously, and it's a consecutive imperfect, getting flipped. Stoma, right? Stom is the name. The hey at the end is the directional hey towards stom. The Abraham, so conjunctive of Abraham. Odenu, so od means still. Odenu, third person masculine singular. Odenu still. I mean, it's a more formal way of saying still. Omed, ayin mem daled, it means to stand, and this is the participle. It's in the present tense, without the vav, as you would expect. The odenu is with a vav, also as you would expect. Lifnei means prepositional lamed. Penei literally means face. Lifnei means in front of. Havaya is the tetragrammaton, the Lord. Verse 22. And the men turned their faces from thence and went towards Sodom. But Abraham stood yet before the Lord. Yeah. And the men turned away and went toward Sodom, but Abraham remained standing before the Lord. And let's look at the thing. Masoretic text, an ancient Hebrew scribal tradition, but the Lord remained standing before Abraham. Odenu, Omed, Abraham. Abraham, Odenu, Omed, yeah? Maybe Rashi says? And the men turned from there and went to Sodom, and Abraham was still standing before the Lord. And Abraham's, but is it not so that he did not go to stand before him, but the Holy One came to him and said to him, because of the crime, and it should have written, the Lord was still standing beside Abraham, but this is a scribal emendation. Genesis Rabbah. So the Genesis Rabbah says that actually it was the other way around, and the scribes changed it. Okay, so you can look at the Genesis Rabbah if you like. I am surprised that the NIV is bringing the Genesis Rabbah, but okay. Verse 23. Vayigash Abraham vayomer ha'af tispeh tzaddik im rasha. Interesting. So, Yigash, I believe the root is Yud Gimel Shin or Hey Gimel Shin. They're saying Nun Gimel Shin. Okay. Means to serve up, to come near, to approach. Vayigash, and came near. Yeah, Abraham. Also, this is same Vayigash. Yehuda comes close to Joseph later when when they're in Egypt. Vayigash Abraham, and Abraham came close, came near, he approached Abraham. Vayomer, conjunctive vav, Yomer we've had many times. Ha'af, so af, is it, right? And the hey turns into a question. So is also ha'af, will you? Tispe, sin pe he means to end, to destroy, to snatch away, catch up. It is used. It is actually used 20 times in the Bible. I think. I mean, I think it's related to the sin pe, which means end, right? So, will you cause to end the misapu? Yeah, that's what I would say. Ha'af tispe, will you put to an end, right? Tispe. The the taf is second person masculine singular of the imperfect. Tispe. Will you cause an end? Will you destroy? Tzaddik is a saint, a righteous person. Im, with. Rasha. Rasha is an evil person, right? And evildoer, wicked, right? So tzaddik and rasha is a are antonyms that are used in many places in the Bible. So Abraham says to God, he approaches God and he says to God, will you destroy righteous people with evildoers? 23. And Abraham drew near and said, wilt thou also destroy the righteous with the wicked? NIV. Then Abraham approached him, and said, will you sweep away the righteous with the wicked? Okay. Chabad. And Abraham approached and said, will you even destroy? Yeah, ha'af, will you even? Destroy the righteous with the wicked. And you can read the Rashi's if you like. Okay, let's keep on going. Verse 24. אולי יש 50 צדיקים בתוך העיר, האף תספה ולא תיסע למקום, למען 50 הצדיקים אשר בקרבה. This is the Jewish tradition. We argue with God. This is what we do. Okay. Ulai, maybe, suppose. Okay. Yesh, there is. Right? So, like I said, there is no Hebrew. There's no Hebrew present tense of the verb to be, but yesh means exist. Ayin means not exist. Yesh mi ayin. So when we say ex nihilo, yes, God created from nothing. We say yesh mi ayin, some being from not being. So yesh really means there exists. I would translate yesh as exists. Maybe exists. Chamishim. Chamishim is the number 50. Chamishim. Tzadikim. So righteous people, like we said, tzaddik. So tzaddikim is the plural, and it's written with one yud, which is fine, but could have also been written with two yuds. Bet toch, prepositional bet, toch means within, the midst of. Ha'ir, the city, right? Article, ir, it means city. Ha'af, so again, like we said before, the hey turns it into a question. Af, also, as Rashi was explained, tispe, again, like the previous verse, destroy, will you destroy? Velo Conjunctive vav, lo means no. Tisa, like we said before, sin aleph hey means to raise. Like we said, he raised his eyes, right? Tisa, and will you not lift up? Probably they're translating spare. Will you not lift up? Nisui avon, we say, is to to lift up, to remove a tis'a avon, to remove a sin. Tis'a lamakom, to the place, do not spare the place. Prepositional lamed with the article, makom means place. And by the way, makom is actually something, one of the names we refer to God as, with a vav as usual. Lema'an, because of, for. Chamishim, again, 50, tzadik, tzadikim, the 50, right? So it's in the smichut, chamishim tzadikim. So the hey, the article goes on the last one, right? Because of the 50 righteous people, asher bekirba, asher is pronoun relative. Prepositional bet, carrier, like we said by Sarah, is close within, right? Bekirba, which is in it, right? And ear is feminine, right? So that's why kirba, the hay, is feminine, in it, right? Okay. Verse 24. Peradventure, there be 50 righteous within the city. Wilt thou also destroy and not spare the place for the 50 righteous that are within, that are therein? NIV. What if there are 50 righteous people in the city? Will you not sweep it away and not spare, there's a note, the place for the sake of the 50 righteous people in it? See what their note is. Or forgive. Also in verse 26. Let's look at Chabad. Perhaps there are 50 righteous in the midst of righteous men in the midst of the city. Will you even destroy and not forgive the place for the sake of the 50 righteous men who are in its midst? You can read the Rashi's if you like. He explains why the 50 apparently they were 5 cities, and he's saying there's 10 in each. Okay. חלילה לך מעשות כדבר הזה להעמיד צדיק עם רשע והיה כצדיק כרשע חלילה לך השופט כל הארץ לא יעשה משפט. Ooh, this is why I love Abraham. This is what we call arguing with God. Okay. Chalila lacha. So chalila, this is an interjection. Chas v'chalila, chas v'shalom. In Hebrew, when we want to say, oh no, not, a horrible thing, alas ba'alak, and alak, right? We say chalila. So chalila comes from halal, means there are fireworks outside my window. I don't know why. Chalila lacha means halal means profane. Chalila lacha, it would be sad for you. It would far be it from you, I guess they're translating. Oh no, heaven forbid, right? Chalila lacha. Me'asot. So the prepositional mem, asot, is the infinitive of asa, to do, to make, right? Ein sin he. Kadavar. So prepositional chaf with the article, davar, such a thing, right? Like this thing. Far be it from you to do such a thing. Ma'asot kadavar hazeh, like as this, right? Hazeh. Article ze is pronoun masculine singular. Lahamit, right? So the root here is mot mem vav taf, which means to die. Lahamit is the hefil, is the causative, to cause to die. Lahamit, tzaddik, a righteous person. Im, with, rasha, a wicked person. V'haya, conjunctive of haya, it shall be, and should it be. Ka tzaddik, prepositional chaf with the article tzaddik, like the righteous. Ka rasha, again prepositional chaf with the article rasha, just as the righteous with the evildoer. Chalil alach, right? And this time the lach is in the feminine. So he said, Chalil alacha, far be it from you, in the masculine, second person masculine singular. Chalil alach, far be it from you, second person feminine singular. And we would probably in Judaism say that now he's talking to the Shekhinah, right? To the feminine aspect. Hashofet, kol haaretz, the judge, right? Ha-shofet, the judge. Shofet. No, this is not a verb being in the participle. Shofet is a judge. Ha-shofet kol haaretz, the one who judges, I guess. Yeah, maybe in the participle. Shin pei taf, like we said before, like mishpat, shofet, the judge. Kol, meaning all. Haaretz, the earth, with the article. Lo ya'aseh mishpat, does not, ya'aseh, will not do, right? Again, to do, ya'aseh, will not do, right? It's in the imperfect. Mishpat, what is right, what is just, right? Mishpat, it comes from shofet, right? Will not, the judge of all the land will not do what is just. Okay. See what King James says, that be far from thee to do after this manner, to slay the righteous with the wicked, and that the righteous should be as the wicked, that be far from thee. Shall not the judge of all the earth do right? NIV, far be it from you to do such a thing, to kill the righteous with the wicked, treating the righteous and the wicked alike. Far be it from you. Will not the judge of all the earth do right? Okay. Far be it from you to do such a thing as this, to put to death the righteous from the wicked, so that the righteous should be like the wicked. Far be it from you. Will the judge of the entire earth not perform justice? And I want to see what Rashi says about Chalil Alecha and Chalil Alach, because he talks about the both of them. Far be it from you. And if you say that the righteous will not save the wicked, why should you kill the righteous? Okay, it is profane, hulin, right? He's saying that's where the word chalil comes from. Unfitting for you. They would say, so is his craftiness and righteous. Okay. Okay. He hasn't mentioned the lach and the lacha. Okay. 26. ויאמר הוויה אם אמצא בסדום 50 צדיקים בתוך העיר, ונסעתי לכל המקום בעבורם. Okay, so conjunctive of Yomer and said, Havaya is the tetragrammaton, if, emtza, right? So mem tzadik aleph means is the root to find. Emtza, I will find. It's in the imperfect. If I find. So bistom. So prepositional bet. Stom is in the name of the city. Chamishim, 50. Tzadikim, righteous. Betoch. So prepositional bet. Toch meaning midst. So within the midst, in the middle of. Ha'ir, this city. Venasati. So again, we laset, right? Sin ayin, sin aleph. Hey means to raise up, like we said. He raised his eyes, right? Means to lift up, to remove, and here it means to spare, to forgive. Let chol, so prepositional lamed, chol meaning all. Ha-makom, that place, right? With the article makom, the place. Ba'avuram. So again, the root here is ayin bet resh, which is the same root as Hebrew, right? Which means over, right? Ba'avuram means because of them, right? Because of them. Prepositional bet. Ba'avur, avur meaning over or because of. And the mem is the third person masculine plural. Okay? 26, King James. And the Lord said, if I find in Sodom 50 righteous within the city, then I will spare all the place for their sakes. Okay? NIV. The Lord said, if I find 50 righteous people in the city of Sodom, I will spare the whole place for their sake. Not very thing, but okay. Not very literal. And the Lord said, if I find in Sodom 50 righteous men within the city, I will forgive the entire place for their sake. Okay. Next verse. I think we're going to have a lot of... okay. Repetition here, but... Vayan Abraham, Vayomer, Hinena ho'alti ledaber el Adonai, va'anochi afar va'efer. Very interesting. Okay. So, conjunctive of, the root here is ayin nun hey, which means to answer. Vayan, and he answered, Abraham, this is his name, Vayomer, and said, Hine, behold, na, please, ho'alti. I'm not even sure what root is Ya'al, Yud Aleph Lamed. This is Vayol Moshe, right, in Exodus 2, Vayol. So the name Joel actually comes from this Yoel. Was willing, undertook. I think it may come from in front of. Shows up 19 times in the Bible. Undertook, maybe. Assay, begin, be content, please. Take upon willingly, would. A primitive root. Okay. It is what it is. Okay. Ho'alti. So the root is Yud Aleph Lamed, and this is in the Hefil. Ho'alti, I took upon myself. Okay. Hefel is the causative form. I caused myself to take up. Okay. Ledaber, to speak. That's the infinitive. Ledaber, to speak. And it does mean a little bit harshly. El Adonai, to my Lord. And you must have noticed that I kept on actually saying the word because this is the plural. This is not the Shem Havaya. It's not the Tetragrammaton. It is the plural of my master, my Lord, my lords, which it refers to God. Va'anochi, so conjunctive of. Interestingly, anochi is I in the more formal, the longer way, and afar ve'efer. So they sound alike. The first one is with an ayin peresh, meaning dust. Efer is with the aleph peresh, meaning ashes. And I always get these two confused. They're very similar words. And I am dust and ashes, right? I'm nothing before you, God, right? Okay. King James, and Abraham answered and said, Behold, now I have taken upon me to speak unto the Lord, which am but dust and ashes. Okay. NIV. Then Abraham spoke up again. Now that I have been so bold as to speak to the Lord, though I am nothing but dust and ashes. And Abraham answered and said, Behold, now I have commenced to speak to the Lord. Commenced. Alti. Commenced. Okay. Undertaken, I would say. Although I am dust and ashes, Rashi says, I was already fit to be dust at the hands of the kings and ashes at the hands of Nimrod. For it not your mercies that stood by me. Okay? So there is a midrash which says that Nimrod was going try to burn up Abraham because he destroyed his idols. That's where it's coming from. Okay, verse 28. Ulai yachsaron chamishim hatzadikim chamisha hatashchit bachamisha et kol ha'ir vayomer lo ashchit et im imtza sham arbaim v'chamisha. So now he's bargaining. Ulai, maybe. Yachasrun. So the root here is het sin resh, which means to lack, to be less than, right? We talk about chaser. Yachasrun. So the paragogic nun, which you can look here. Suffix paragogic nun, if you like. Says its meaning is unknown. This is poetic language. Yachsru means shall be less than, shall not be enough. It's third person masculine. Plural has a paragogic nun at the end, which I would say usually is just poetic. Chavishim, 15. Hatzadikim, the 50, right? The article goes on the last noun. Chamisha. So let's say the 50 are lacking 5. Hatashchit. So the root here is shin chet taf, which means to destroy. Uh, Lahashchit is the Hefil, cause to be destroyed, right? And the He at the beginning turns it into a question. Would you destroy, Hatashchit, would you cause to be destroyed? Ba Chamisha, so prepositional bet with the article, um, for because of the five, right? For the five. Et is the direct object marker. Kol ha'ir. Kol meaning all. Ha'ir, the city with the article. Vayomer, and he said, Lo ashchit, I will not cause to destroy. Ashchit, right? Just like we had hatashchit here. Im, if, emtza, right? We had to find before. Emtza, I will find. Sham, there. Arbaim v'chamisha. Arbaim means 40 and 5, right? So he's bargaining. There's five less people. Would you kill him for 5 less? Because of the 5 less? And God says, okay, 45. I won't kill him. So King James, peradventure there shall lack 5 of the 50 righteous. Wilt thou destroy all the city for lack of 5? And he said, if I find there 40 and 5, I will not destroy it. NIV, what if the number of the righteous is 5 less than 50? Will you destroy the whole city for lack of 5 people? If I find 45 there, he said, I will not destroy it. Okay? Come on. Perhaps the 50 righteous men will be missing 5. Will you destroy the entire city because of 5? Oh, just said the 5. And he said, I will not destroy it if I find there 45. And Rashi has cute things to say there if you wanted to look those up. Okay. Vayosef עוד לדבר עליו, ויאמר אולי ימצאון שם 40, ויאמר לא אעשה בעבור 40. So now it's getting a little shorter. So the root here is sin vav hey, which means to add. Vayosef, he caused to add, he added, he said more. And again, Vayosef, right? And this is like the name Joseph, without the vav there, which I kind of would have expected to be there. So this is the chaser, I would say. Od, again, yet, right? Od, ledaber, to speak, elav, to him, with the aleph, not ayin. Vayomer, and Vayomar, and he said, Ulai, maybe, right, peradventure, suppose. Yimatzun, again, this is the matzah, to find, the mem tzadik aleph, with the paragogic nun at the end, will be found. Sham, there, arbaim, 40. Vayomer, and so conjunctive of, Vayomer, and he said, Lo, I will not, no, e'eseh, lasot, to do, in the first person common singular of the imperfect, I will not do. Ba'avur, because of, and we spoke about avur before, comes from ayin bet resh, same root as Hebrew, because of, right? Avur ha'arbaim, I will not do it because of the 40, right? So goes down another 5. King James, verse 29. And he spake unto him yet again, and said, peradventure there shall be 40 found there. And he said, I will not do it for this, for 40's sake. Okay? And once again he spoke to him, what if only 40 are found there? He said, for the sake of 40 I will not do it. Chabad, and he continued further to speak to him. And he said, perhaps 40 will be found there. And he said, I will not do it for the sake of 40. Okay. Um, Rashi has interesting things to say, but we'll leave those. Vayomer el al na yichar la Adonai va'adabera ulai yematzun sham shloshim vayomer lo ese im emtza sham shloshim. So continues, and he said, al na, not please, so please not. Yichar, right, to get angry. Het resh hey is the root. Yichar. They're saying imperfect jusive, the command. Yichar. Okay. Um. Yeah. Okay. Third person. To my Lord. The um. This is the word and not the name. This is not the tetragrammaton. Va'adabera, and I shall speak, right? Adabera, with the suffix paragogic hey at the end, right? Adabera, and I will speak yet more, I guess. Ulai, maybe, suppose, peradventure. Yimatzun, again, will be found with the paragogic nun again. Sham, there, shloshim, 30. Vayomer, and he said, lo eseh, I will not do it. Im emtza, if I find. Sham, shloshim. There, shloshim, and shloshim is written without above if you're keeping track. Same thing, we're repeating a lot. And he said unto him, oh, let not the Lord be angry, and I will speak. Peradventure, there shall 30 be found there. And he said, I will not do it if I find 30 there. Okay. Then he said, may the Lord not be angry, but let me speak. What if only 30 can be found there? He answered, I will not do it if I find 30 there. Okay. Chabad. And he said, please let the Lord's wrath not be kindled. Al na yichar la Adonai, to my master. And I will speak. Okay. Ulai, perhaps 30 will be found there. And he said, I will not do it if I find it. If I find 30 there. Okay. 31. Vayomer hinena ho'alti ledaber el Adonai ulai yimatzun sham esrim. Vayomer lo ashchit ba'avor ha'esrim. So very similar to previous verses. Vayomer, and he said, Hine, behold, na, please, ho'alti, right? I have caused myself, right? Vayoel, we discussed before, to I have taken upon myself, I've commenced, I have ventured, right? Ho'alti ledaber, to speak. El, to my Lord, right? This is the word, not the name, not the tetragrammaton. Ulai, maybe yimatzun will be found with the paragogic nun. Sham, there. Esrim, 20. Vayomer, and he said, lo ashchit, I will not cause to be destroyed, right? This is shin chat taf, to destroy. In the Hifil, caused to be destroyed. Because of the 30. King James, and he said, behold, now I have taken upon me to speak unto the Lord, peradventure there shall be 20 found there. And he said, I will not destroy it for 20's sake. Okay, 31. Abraham said, now that I have been so bold as to speak to the Lord, what if only 20 can be found there? He said, for the sake of 20, I will not destroy it. Okay. Chabad. And he said, behold, now I have desired to speak. Again, it's ho'alti, like we said about Yoel. right? To speak to the Lord. Perhaps 20 will be found there. And he said, I will not destroy for the sake of the 20. 32. Vayomer al na yichar la Adonai v'adavera ach hapam ulai yematzun sham asara vayomer lo ashchit ba'avor ha'asara. Okay. Vayomer, and he said, al na yichar. Again, just like we had before, should not become angry. Do not become angry. Yichar. And again, to my Lord. This is the word, not the name, not the tetragrammaton. Prepositional noun, like we had before. But adabra, and I will speak, right? With the pedagogic hey at the end. Ach hapam. Ach is a means just. I usually translate it as just. Just hapam. Once this time, pa'am means a time, a count, right? Hapam, this time, once more, right? Just once. This time, right? So last time, I'm not going to say it again. Ulai, suppose. Yematzun will be found with the pedagogic noun, right? Just as we had before. Sham, there. Asara. Asara is tiny bit strange. He's not saying eser, which means 10. He's saying asara, which is a minion, which is 10 people. It's like a dozen, but it's 10. So we're not it's a number, but it means a group of 10. Okay, just like in Hebrew, we would realize that asara is a group of 10. Right? We actually refer to a minyan, which literally means accounting, right? In Sephardim usually refer to it as an asara, as a 10. Okay, Vayomer, he said, La ashchit, I will not cause to be destroyed, right, like we had before. Ba'avor ha'asarav, for the sake of, right, ba'avor ha'asara, the 10, the minion, right? Okay. King James, and he said, Oh, let not the Lord be angry, and I will speak yet but this once. Peradventure, 10 shall be found there. And he said, I will not destroy for 10's sake. NIV, then he said, May the Lord not be angry, but let me speak just once more. What if only 10 can be found there? He answered, he said, for the sake of 10, I will not destroy it. Okay. And he said, Please let the Lord's wrath not be kindled, and I will speak yet this time. Perhaps 10 will be found there. And he said, I will not destroy for the sake of the 10. Okay, I mean, that's an interesting Rashi if you want to read it. I'm not going to go over it. Okay. Last verse of this chapter. Vayala Chavaya Kasher Kila Ledaber El Abraham Abraham Shav Lemakomo. Interesting sentence. So, Vayelech, conjunctive of, it's in the imperfect. The root is to walk, either Hey Lamed Chaf or Lamed Chaf Hey, as we discussed. Vayelech Havaya, and God went, walked, moved. Havaya. Now we're back to using that tetragrammaton, ka'asher, So prepositional chaf with the pronoun relative as he has spoken, when he had spoken, as soon as. Kila, right? So this was the word that we were looking at before, to destroy, right? Which I said because of the cancellation marks, we were saying that if God finds the shouting, he will destroy. Same word, kila, right? So he finished. Here, obviously, it means God finished speaking with Abraham, but it is the same word. Ledaber. So he finished speaking. He completed speaking. He destroyed speaking. Not really, but so you understand, it's the same word. Kila ledaber, to speak, is the infinitive. El Abraham, to Abraham. This is with the aleph, not ayin. But Abraham and Abraham shav. So shav. This is the root is shin vav bet, um, returned. You might want to say he sat. I would say it is returned. Lim komo, prepositional lamed. Makom here is written bechisaron. Makom is usually written with above. Here it is not written with above, and obviously so. Mikomo, to his place, and there is a chisaron there. Okay, it is lacking. It is written chisaron. Okay. King James, and the Lord went on his way as soon as he had left communing with Abraham. Communing. And Abraham returned unto his place. NIV. And when the Lord had finished speaking with Abraham, he left, and Abraham returned home. I'm not sure I like home. I would say to his place. Okay. Chabad. And the Lord departed when he finished speaking to Abraham, and Abraham returned to his place. And I just want to read this Rashi here, and Abraham returned to his place, because it is bechisaron. The judge left, the defender left, and the prosecutor is accusing, therefore, and the two angels came to Sodom to destroy. This is from the Genesis Rabbah, which says, one of the three angels came to speak to Abraham to give him the good news. One came to destroy Sodom, and the other to destroy, and the other to save Lot. One to destroy Sodom, and one to save Lot. And he, the latter, is the same one who came to heal Abraham, but the third one who came to announce Isaac to Sarah, since he had performed his mission, he departed. This is from the Midrash Tanchuma Vayera and the Genesis Rabbah, so you can look there. I do wonder about that chisaron. Okay, so hopefully this was useful to you, and I will finish with this verse, which I love very much. Sephania 3:9. Ki az epoch el amim, safa bera likro chulam beshem havaya la'odoshchem echad. For thus I shall restore, turn over to the people a winnowed, a pure language. Likro chulam, so that all of them shall call Beshem Havaya, in the name of the Tetragrammaton. Le'ovdo, to serve him, right? Eved, to be his servants, his slaves. Le'ovdo, Shem Echad, with one shoulder together. Amen. Hopefully this has been a blessing to you, and hopefully this will be a blessing to all of us. Shalom.